What's up, folks? What's going on? Welcome to the Spun Today podcast. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz, and the Spun Today podcast is a podcast about things that have been swirling and spun around in my brain that I am sharing with you today in the form of writing, reflections on things that I'm reading, movies that I've seen, shows that I'm watching, music, UFC stuff, and just generally things that I'm into. Again, I'm your host, Tony Ortiz, and this is episode 63 of the Spun Today podcast. And yes, this is the much anticipated by less than half a dozen of you Honeymoon episode that I told you guys about way back when. So I went on my honeymoon to Mexico in the end of October, and I recorded a few short 10 to 15 minute recordings about how the trip was going and stuff like that, and things that I was experiencing, and similar to how I did the India episodes when I went to India that I told you guys about, which you can check out in the backlog episodes of the podcast. And then this intro and outro I'm recording today on December 22nd, 2016. So pretty much what this episode is about is my honeymoon, and just telling you guys about the resort and how that was, and as well as a lot about Chichen Itza, like the excursion that we did to Chichen Itza, which is something that I don't think I mentioned in the episode. I can't remember now. But something that I wanted to was the fact that Chichen Itza it's like the America's Egypt. It's dubbed, and it's the ancient Mayan ruins, and a bit of its history has to do with, or a lot of its history rather, has to do with the fact that it was privately owned land, technically, for over 500 years, and it wasn't until 2010 that the Yucatan Mexican government purchased the land back. And Mexico was conquered by the Spanish in 1540s and in the 1500s, I think 1540s, 1543, 1547, and the ancient Maya actually drove the Spanish armies out of the Yucatan Peninsula, and Chichen Itza was the Mayans' biggest city, biggest thriving Mayan city, but over the years it deteriorated and became less so, and for a large part of its history it was ignored by both the Spanish conquistadors as well as the Mayas, who migrated to other cities that were thriving. And there was this American character named Edward Herbert Thompson, who was actually born in Worcester, Massachusetts, according to his Wikipedia, which is where my wife used to live. And this dude devoted his life to studying ancient Mayan civilizations, and he actually believed that the Mayan ruins were proof somehow that of the lost continent of Atlantis. And this guy was so into Mayan civilization and stuff like that he was like some archaeologist type cat, that in 1894 he purchased the ruin area that was being ignored by everyone. And in 1894 he purchased a large chunk of area. I think it was 200 acres or something like that, which included Chichen Itza, and where El Castillo, the Chichen Itzas, which is the big pyramid there, the cenote sagrado, which is the sacred cenote, which I believe is the one that we went to. We went to a cenote, which is a well water hole type of thing that's has I think it was 80 feet or 800 feet of depth or something like that, and we got into it, which was really dope. There's pictures of that, by the way, on my Instagram @Spun Today if you guys want to check that out. And also the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Spun Today. Pictures of all the shit is on there, videos and stuff like that. Oh, my website, spuntoday.com/photography. If you want to check out some dope pictures. Those came out nicer because, they're, weren't with the iPhone. They're with like an actual camera. So on the website, they look the best. But you can see a bunch of them and more on both Instagram and Facebook. Anyway, this dude bought it for, I can't find the exact amount, but I know the guide, the tour guide that we had, he told us the amount, and I remember thinking that it was like some sick Louisiana Purchase type of, buy this shit for like $1 type of thing. And it was like $18.94. So he bought it like really cheap. And it wasn't until now, 2010, it got passed to his children and stuff like that. It wasn't until now, 2010, that it was purchased back by the Mexican government for, I believe it was 22 million Mexican dollars, which is like 17 million US dollars or something like that. And now it's like a wonder of the world, etc. And, conserved and looked after by the government and stuff like that. What else? This Thompson character, he recovered artifacts of gold and copper and carved jade, as well as the first ever examples believed to be pre-Columbian Maya cloth and wooden weapons, and he shipped the bulk of them to the Peabody Museum in the United States. So yeah, that's just some interesting background history on the Maya in Mexico and all that good stuff. It was a really cool experience for both my wife and myself to see and check out. It was definitely a memorable time. So yeah, without further ado, folks, thanks again for listening to this episode and all others. This episode will be coming out after Christmas, but before New Year's. So I hope you and your families have had a Merry Christmas, if that's what you're into. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Festivus, whatever it is that you guys celebrate. Hope everything went well. I think Hanukkah actually this year's like past Christmas or something like that. Or starts a little bit before but goes through and past Christmas or something. And I heard the Flying Jew say that on the Church of What's Happening Now, Joey Diaz's podcast. But yeah, whatever it is that you guys celebrate, whatever it is that you're into, I hope everything went and is going well. I appreciate the fuck out of everyone who listens to this podcast and appreciate the support. Thank you guys for a pretty cool 2016, and here's to a much more prosperous and goal setting and goal reaching and achieving 2017. I decided to release this episode now as the final episode of the year because historically people don't really listen to podcasts too much during the holiday season, which I don't know why, because I feel like there's more like downtime and stuff during that time. But most people, such as myself, do listen like at work and stuff like that. If you have like a boring desk job that you could listen to shit in the background and get through your day that way. So with all the days off and vacations and stuff like that, maybe that's why people don't listen to podcasts. But anyway, the next episode after this, we'll go back to the usual, free writing episodes, short story episodes, random rant episodes, etc., etc., etc. And without further ado, here is episode 63, The Honeymoon. What up, bitches? What's going on, folks? I am on my honeymoon and stopping to record this for you guys and for myself, I guess, for historical referencing purposes, much to my wife's chagrin. But I'm gonna do this like I did the India episodes, if you guys remember. India part 1, part 2, and I think part 3 of the podcasts, where I like just pieced together a bunch of different recordings that spanned the time that I was on those trips. So this is just gonna be quick. This is the end of day 2 in Cancun, Mexico, specifically Puerto Morelos at the now Sapphire Resort, which so far, 2 days in, I highly recommend. It's a very, very nice resort. It's rated, I think, 4 to 5 stars depending on who rates it. And so far the service has been great, the food has been great, and the beach is clean. It's really nice. The staff is very attentive. Just chill out at the beach. They come to you, bring you drinks and shit like that. It's an all-inclusive resort. The room is huge, and it was just like a regular deal of the day type of room that we got. The staff actually hooked us up. They we let them know that it was our honeymoon, and they put like a little honeymoon sash on the door and gave us a complimentary bottle of champagne when we checked in. And it's been pretty dope so far. We actually just came from one of the restaurants that we went to downstairs. The place has like 5 or 6 restaurants, and this one had a wait. We went down, we signed up, and in places like this, like it's not like too much of a headache to have to wait, because like what we did, for example, we signed up for a table for 2. The wait was like roughly an hour. They told us, and it wound up being quicker than that. It was like 40 minutes. But what we did is they give us like a little beeper thing, like they do, when you go to like a fucking Red Lobster or fancy place like that, right? And we just went to the bar and over at the lobby that had some live music, and it was these 2 guys singing and playing the keyboard and electric guitar, and they were playing some like Maroon 5 type music and stuff like that with their own like little twist, which is pretty dope. And we were just there chilling on couches, having drinks, talking, and overall having a good time. So that like waiting time period in and of itself is enjoyable. You know what I mean? Aside from the fact that you're in I looked up the weather, and Mexico is like a tropical type of climate. I was looking up the weather like up to a week prior to the trip, and I was a little worried because Hurricane Matthew just like passed by, mainly like through the Caribbean, so it didn't hit here that much, I think. But I think that just based on absolutely zero research. But I know like it hit Haiti hard and in the Caribbean, so I'm just assuming that it didn't hit here too hard. Anyway, the weather for the week that we've been here was supposed to, or the week that we're gonna be here, is supposed to be like raining, like for like I think it was like a 60 to 70% chance of rain for most of the time that we were here, and then up to the day before the trip, it dropped down to like 30 to 40% chance of rain, and so far it hasn't rained at all. The guy that picked us up at the airport and drove us to the hotel told us that the night before it rained a lot, so we're hoping that that's the last of it. We haven't seen any rain so far. The last 2 days we've been here, it's been like awesome, dope, perfect weather, low 80s, and so far like no complaints. I lied, actually. One complaint so far, which was we ordered room service dinner because we didn't feel like going out anywhere. Like when we got here, we checked in before we checked in because the room wasn't ready yet, because we got here from the airport like at I don't know, 12:30, 1 o'clock, around there, and check-in time is at 3, but they let you could just chill in the resort and take part in all the amenities and stuff like that, go eat, go drink, whatever you want until your room is ready. So the room was ready at 3. We went to go have lunch at the buffet that they have here, which was pretty good, and had a couple of drinks and just chilled around the hotel, walked around, got a bit of got to know the lay of the land. And then when we got our room finally, we went to the pool, After we changed, went to the pool. The pool is dope. Really big pool. Has like a couple bridges and the gazebo, like where people get married and shit like that. It's like in the middle of the pool, and it's really nice. It's really cool layout for the resort. And anyway, that night we decided to order room service because we didn't feel like going out, and I was excited but didn't think it through because I like the idea of room service. It's like all inclusive resort. It's 24-hour room service. You go to whatever you want, and I like the idea of that. But I didn't think it through in the sense that you can't order everything from room service. 'Cause you have to, and this is not based on extensive experience or anything like that. It's just like 2 or 3 different like resorts that I've been to, and this like pretty much solidified it for me anyway, and how I'm gonna approach room service in the future. You have to assume that quality-wise, it drops down a notch or two for room service. Like if you order the same exact thing in one of the restaurants downstairs and order it for room service, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a little worse room service-wise. So there's certain things that you can't really fuck up, like a burger or, I don't know, chicken tenders and french fries, like shit like that. Desserts, like that type of stuff is you should order for room service. Pizzas, things like that. But I got excited because I saw on the menu they had ribeye steak. They had a flank steak as well, which I'm still contemplating ordering. But I ordered the ribeye the first day, and it came, and it was just completely cold. Like if they cooked it like an hour ago and just left it sitting out type of thing, like mad cold, like almost unedible cold. Well, it was unedible. Like I literally had like 2 bites of it. I ate the potatoes that came with it, and that was pretty much it. That was my dinner that day. So that was my only complaint so far. And aside from that, though, we just came from a banging restaurant called Cebu. It's the Mediterranean restaurant that they have here. And we had, what did we have? My wife had bruschetta. I had beef capriccioli or something like that, which was good. She had the lasagna for her main course, and I had the salmon, and everything was really good. We had desserts. I had tiramisu. She had ice cream and a couple glasses of wine, and it was dope. We had a very nice dinner, so we were very happy with that. We had breakfast this morning at the buffet, which was banging, and it's anything you could think of, like breakfast wise, like bacon and different cheeses and eggs and pancakes and waffles and French toast and mimosas and all the dope shit that you could think of. What did we do? Oh, we went to the beach all day today, which was really cool. I did some reading there, some writing actually, some editing for the story that I owe you guys from fucking, I don't know how fucking long ago already. That short story that I gave you guys the preview of, that I read the first draft of on the podcast, that I'm still fucking working on. That one, I am finally like in the editing phase of it, and pretty much have the story done. Just have to go through the edit and then the final rewrite, and I'll put that up for you guys hopefully within the next month at least, by the time this shit comes out. But that story, it kind of like more right now I'm in between, like the story is done, but I'm in between, which I'll be able to tell after editing if it's gonna stay a short story or lengthwise, if it's gonna be like a novelette or a novella that I'll release separately. But yeah, it's kind of like in that in between area, word count wise. So we'll see after editing if it gets chopped down significantly enough, or if I wind up adding a little bit more to it to make it like a full-fledged novella. And what else? Tomorrow, we're excited. We're going to wake up early. We're going on our first excursion. We're going to go to Chichen Itza. That's the Mayan ruins, pyramids and stuff like that. And it's like an all-day thing. They're going to pick us up at 8 o'clock in the morning. And it's like a 3-hour drive. And then we're there for like 4 hours. Then they take us, we're there for like 3 hours. Then they take us to like another cave that we could like jump into. It's like full of water and stuff like that. And then we have lunch, and then it's a 3-hour drive back. So we get here like at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And it's like an all-day thing. Really excited about it. It's something that we planned to do from before we left New York. And we're looking forward to it. I'm going to tell you guys more about that once we experience it, obviously. And I'm definitely planning on taking a bunch of pictures for you guys to add to the website. And that's pretty much it, man. We've been having a really good time overall. So, anyways, let me go spend some time with my wife, as you're supposed to do on honeymoons. And I'll check you guys out in a few days. I'll let you guys know how that Chichen Itza was. All right? Peace.
Give a shout out. Shout out to everybody.
That was my wife. So this is recording number 2. Right now we are chilling poolside, sipping on a Modelo beer, as well as my drink, by the way, of the trip has been a margarita on the rocks with salt. When in Mexico, do as the Mexicans do. You guys know I'm a whiskey guy primarily, and I measure like the quality or level or whatever of a resort based on like the whiskey, because that's all I know, I guess. I can't my barometer can't be based on wine and stuff like that. Well, and not just in terms of resorts, but in terms of like open bars. And this one was pretty good. It has Black Label, Johnny Walker Black Label, in all of the different bars. The pool bar, the main lobby bar, all of the bars. I've been to a resort in the past where it's just like in certain bars they have Johnny Walker Black, and everywhere else is like Johnny Walker Red and Dewar's White Label and stuff like that. So this is where that's another plus about it. It has that level of whiskey everywhere. What else? Something else that was cool about the resort, they have Monday night and Thursday night football, I guess, because it's like football season or whatever, which is weird because I guess a lot of like football fans come here because I have seen a bunch of different people wearing like Steelers jerseys and Redskins jerseys and Giants t-shirts and stuff like that. And then like in all the souvenir shops you see like they have like skulls or like little mariachi hats and shit like that, but they draw like NFL team logos on them, which is interesting to see. But they must have that type of clientele, I guess, because they also have at the resort Monday night and Thursday night football by the pool, like on a big screen, which is pretty cool. The Jets played yesterday, and I saw a tiny bit of it walking back and forth, and they were losing. So it's a fucked up season for my Jets. But yeah, this part of the recording is geared more towards Chichen Itza. That we went to yesterday. It was a very, very, very long day. We were super tired at the end of it, but it was a dope experience, a really cool trip to get to see the Mayan ruins and get a little taste of like ancient history, I guess, here in Mexico, as well as the like commute there. It's like 3 hours, so you get to see like the actual country, you know what I mean? And that's pretty cool too. I like getting a taste of that, not just like staying at the resort, because a resort here or a resort in DR or a resort in Costa Rica or a resort anywhere, it's same shit, right? It's beach, pool, liquor, and food, basically, and a bunch of different types of people. So yeah, it's pretty dope to get a taste of that. So we saw the pyramids and stuff like that they have there. It was like a 3-hour drive to get there. We were there for probably like another like 3 hours total, and walking around, we had a cool tour guide who gave us a bunch of history about it. There was this real asshole cunt. I actually wrote down his name somewhere. Oh yeah, so here's some cliff notes of what I got from the tour guide. First off, Chichen Itza was recently named one of the wonders of the world within the last couple of years. Their common question that they get is, are there still Mayans today? And he answered, yes, there are. There are actually 7 million Mayans living today. They weren't all, like made extinct or something like that. They span 4 different countries: Mexico, Guatemala, Belize, and the 4th country I didn't catch. Cancun is a Mayan word, actually. That means snake nest. They used to worship rattlesnake for some reason, which is actually, that was like a cause for like the Spaniards when they came, the conquistadors, and they like took over shit. It was pretty much because they thought they were like into like Satan worshipping or something like that, because they had snakes and stuff like that. But the Mayans actually saw the rattlesnake as something that kept time. They were really like obsessed with time, like keeping track of time. And the pyramid structure has there's like this whole thing about like the 92 stairs times the 4 sides plus this divided by that equals 365 days of the year. And they measure like it's both a solar and a lunar calendar at the same time or something like that. And the rattlesnake, for every year that passes, has an additional ring on its rattle that grows or something like that. So pretty much that's why they like worshipped the snake. And I forget the name of the snake. I've heard it named Quetzalcoatl by Graham Hancock. In his book, it's the feathered serpent. They call it something else here as well. But yeah, Cancun stands for snake nest in Mayan language. And if you want to tell somebody how are you in Mayan, you can say Bishabel. Bishabel. What else? Oh, the asshole that I was going to tell you guys about. This guy called Diego de Landa. He was this like ultra Christian dude from Spain that came, and he literally burned hundreds of different Mayan books and texts and just scribes and information that they had. And we lost thousands of years of useful information in that. And literally only 4 books survived, like that mass burning that he did by going from village to village and taking all their information and their books and stuff and burning them. And the 4 books that actually survived, that were later like recovered like through the jungle and found, one is in Mexico, another one is in Spain, another one is in France, and the other one is in Germany. And this Diego de Landa guy, he actually regretted doing what he did eventually. And then he started going around like all the different Mayan villages and wanted to learn more about their culture, basically. And he wound up writing a book. In that book that he wrote, he left us with the Mayan alphabet, like decoded or deciphered, as well as their number system. The Mayans were actually the first ones to come up with the number 0. By the way, guys, none of this is like fact check or anything like that. This is all based on what the tour guide said in a documentary that we saw.
Well, I was staring at you like you're a psycho.
Whatever. Yeah, the people walking by that work here are looking at it, and me sitting on next to the pool here on the couch talking into the MP3 recorder here. But anyway, see what I do for you guys? I look like an idiot. Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so they were the first supposedly to come up with the number 0, like 1,000 years or some shit before the Europeans did, with the concept of the number 0. And whatever. In that book that Diego de Landa wrote, which I do not know the name of. Let's see if I wrote it down here. I did not. He pretty much put forth that information. Then you guys remember that whole December 21st, 2012 thing? The world was going to end type of thing. They said that was something that was exacerbated by I don't know, people, I guess. But the Mayans said that was never the case. It was that cycle, that like lunar cycle, based on them witnessing in 3114 BC, the Mayans saw like a tremendous harmony between Jupiter, Orion's belt, and Venus. And they calculated using that like number system that they came up with that 5,125 years later it would happen again. That date was December 21st, 2012. And that's how sick and accurate their calendar system was. But it wasn't that the world was ending. It was that cycle was ending. That, takes 5,125 years to happen again. And that we would be beginning anew from that point forth. So it's a big misconception according to the tour guides. You know what was really dope that I actually wound up getting as a souvenir for myself? So the Mayans didn't have steel or metal or anything like that, but they were able to, carve all these stones and rocks and temples and stuff like that, all by using harder rocks and harder stones and hard wood as tools. They had something called an obsidian stone that looks like onyx, and it's like a black stone, and it's like super dope. And the tour guide had like traditional Mayan obsidian stone, like knives and like tools that they used, and they were like just really dope. Just like picture like an onyx looking stone, like black, but it changes color. Like when the light glimmers off of it, it looks like green and blue and like different colors like that. And it's like super strong enough for them to like carve stone and be able to build the pyramids that they built and stuff like that. So that was really dope, that I had never heard of before. And even more dope, the fact that they were able to construct everything that they were able to construct by just, without using metal and steel or anything like that. Something that the tour guide told us, which I think is bullshit, but whatever, maybe it's true, is that every Mayan is born with a Mongolian spot. It's called, quote unquote, Mongolian spot. It is some sort of birthmark pigmentation difference that they have like on their back, and he showed us a picture of a Mayan baby that was born that has that same thing. Supposedly all of them do. He said he had it. He said he was a Mayan, but obviously he didn't show us. But yeah, I don't know how true that is, but that was something of note, I guess. And what else? I think Denigan said Mayans come from... Oh yeah, there was this guy called Denigan. He said that the Mayans came from outer space. And he said this because there are different like origin stories of the Mayans. Some say that they were Siberians that migrated here to the Mexican region. And others say that they are relatives of aliens from outer space that came in. So it's an interesting, fun type of story to indulge in, but whatever, take that obviously with a grain of salt. This Denikin guy was some American archaeologist that came up with this theory after finding some Mayan skulls that he excavated, and they showed us pictures of the skulls, and if those are legit pictures, they really do like alien head, like the aliens that we see in like movies and shit like that we depict in like our movies, like big huge heads, gray heads with like those black eyes, like those aliens. Like a skull of that being would look like the picture that he showed us, that were supposedly skulls that were excavated by this Denikin guy. So check that out if you guys are interested. And yeah, it was pretty dope. It's pretty sick experience. It reminded me of like the ruins that I went to in India that I told you guys about in the India 1 and India 2 podcast episodes. And I put a bunch of pictures up of those on the website at spuntoday.com/photography. I took a bunch of pictures of these Mayan ruins in Chichen Itza that I'm going to be putting on the website once I get back to the States. And after that whole like Mayan thing and that tiring experience, and which was really cool, but it's like, again, it was a really long day. They gave us like an hour, like while we were still there, because there's like a bunch of vendors there that you wind up like hustling with, and it's cool because it's like, I don't know, you get like a feel of like the culture and of like the people that live here, and they're working, you're like talking to them. And I had a Mets hat on, and one of them was like, yo, give me the Mets hat, and I'll trade you for a bunch of these fucking like trinkets and stuff like that they were selling. And we wound up buying a bunch of souvenirs there because you can hustle them down. It's like they start at like $12, and we literally bought stuff for like $1. And it was like the same shit like when we were like in India too. Like I bought stuff for like 50 cents over there that they started at like $5. But that was a cool thing to do for a little while. But yeah, after that, then we got back on the bus. Oh, the bus almost left us. The bus did leave us, by the way. We didn't notice. We lost track of time while we were like shopping around. We came out. The bus bounced. Supposedly they waited like an extra 10 minutes from the time that they told us to be there. And then one of the guides, because it was like 4 of them together on the bus with us, he stayed back looking for us, and he found us when we were like roaming around the exit looking for the bus. He found us, and then we wound up taking a cab with him to meet up with the bus. So it was kind of fucked up on our part that we made everybody wait an extra 10 minutes, but it was kind of cool to, take a cab here in Mexico. And it wasn't that far. It was like a 5-minute ride. And we wound up taking that ride to go have lunch at this traditional Mexican restaurant place, which is pretty cool. And then from there, we take the bus again to this water hole, this natural cave water hole place, which is really cool. It was scary because it was like 92 steps down. We had to go down to like get to the level of the water hole, and then the water hole is like 150 feet down. That's how deep it is. 150 feet deep. So we had our like life vests on because none of us know how to swim, and we get in the water, which is cold as fuck, but it was just cool because like you're like inside a cave and you're like looking up, and just see like Tarzan looking vines like hanging and up, and people like diving and just like swimming in a huge ass cave, and it was a cool experience. And then a cenote, that's what it's called, a cenote. And aside from that, then it was just like a 3-hour drive back home where we saw a documentary about the Mayans and stuff like that, which was a nice like little touch at the end. And yeah, that's pretty much it. They gave us food, they gave us beers, sodas, like all that stuff, and it was a pretty cool trip, pretty cool experience. That was Chichen Itza. Now we are going to finish our drinks and head to the beach and chill out for a while. And we're planning on going snorkeling tomorrow, so I'll let you guys know how that shit is. And that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. You want to say anything, babe?
I'm having fun.
What was that?
I'm having fun.
She's having fun. Peace. And thus, folks, all good things must come to an end. It's our final night in Mexico. Just finished packing, writing names on all the souvenirs and shit like that, so we don't have to do it when we get back home. And it was a very enjoyable trip. We both had a great time. Awesome honeymoon. And a couple notables that I was thinking about that I forgot to mention is that the bathroom I thought had 2 toilets, but it's really 1 toilet and a bidet. And a bidet I've always been curious about, wanting to try. And for those of you that don't know, it's like it looks like a toilet, but it has like a faucet type of thing connected to it, and it squirts water on your asshole so that you can really clean yourself. Because the way that we do it, and they have that in India, they have that supposedly like throughout Europe and stuff like that. It's like commonplace, and I guess in Mexico as well, unless they're just catering to like European travelers. But we in America, we fucking just use toilet paper, and all that's doing is really just smashing shit on your butt cheeks. And I actually use, probably TMI, but baby wipes. I've always used them, not always, but for years, because just toilet paper doesn't do the trick. Anyway, a bidet is it's pretty cool. Not as invasive, I guess, as I was like assuming that it would be. It's kind of just like a water that trickles down, I guess, and wets you, and then you dry yourself, and you're that much cleaner for it. Anyway, the bathroom has that, which is pretty cool. Something funny from our tour guide from Chichen Itza is that, and again, it's another parallel that I draw to India. One of the tour guides he looked like he would be like the like teacher's pet in class, like the one that's like always studying and like go hard in school. And he reminded me of a couple people that I trained in India that are the same way. And something that all three of them have in common is that in speaking English, they overpronounce the T in the words that have a T, or that end in a T rather. And like they say things like don't and I will not, and stuff like that. So I don't know, I don't know, I guess it's, I don't know, something that I found eerily similar that I hadn't heard before India. And then one of the tour guides here spoke the exact same way with the same exact emphasis, and I just found that interesting. Something hilarious about him was at the end of the night, he's thanking everybody and stuff like that, and then he said, I'm gonna try to do his accent the way he was speaking English. And they spoke English like really, really great, by the way. But he goes, when speaking about like tipping and like gratuities and stuff like that, he says, and some people say, no, why am I doing an Indian accent? And some people say that in their country, damn, I'm not doing it right now. Some people say that in their country, it is offensive to give a tip. Here, it is not. Please offend us. Offend us very much. He was like said something like that, which is had us dying. What else? Oh, we signed up to go snorkeling today, and I have one snorkeling experience. I thought it was going to be something similar to that. In Costa Rica, where we went out on a boat for like 2 to 3 hours, and then they like stopped the boat, dropped the anchor, and let people like slide off the boat or just walk off the boat into the middle of the ocean around a wreath, catamaran wreath, I think it was called, or something like that, or maybe that's just the name of the tour. And then you just swim like with the fishes and around the reef, like go around in circles and look into the ocean, snorkeling and shit like that. And we signed up here in Mexico to something like that. Well, at least that I thought was like that. And we went. We got picked up this morning after breakfast, and we were on our way there. And we're speaking with the tour guide dude, and he was telling us that it's like a guided tour, and we needed to know how to swim, and it's like a 3-mile swim, and that we have to keep up, and it's like 3 stops and everything. And we were like, what the fuck? This was like completely not what we were expecting. None of us know how to swim. And I thought it was just like leisurely snorkeling, not some fucking marathon race snorkeling type shit. And we wound up canceling it pretty much, and taking a cab back from the office that does the tours, taking a cab back to the hotel, and then we just wound up chilling in the hotel and had a pretty fun day. Actually, I rented a GoPro that I was using for the first time. I hadn't done that before, and it was pretty cool, taking pictures like underwater and like in the pool, and in the beach as well, and shit like that, which was pretty fun. And some videos and stuff like that. It was pretty dope. GoPros are pretty cool. I hadn't fucked with them before, but it was pretty dope. What else? Last night we went to this like fancy French restaurant that they have here, and We had beef tartare. What happened? My wife had raw beef. Beef tartare, which I think tartare is fucking means raw. That's what I was telling her. I think, cause tuna tartare is just like raw tuna, and I guess everything else tartare is the same. But it was pretty much ground beef, like you buy at the supermarket, just like packed up and with a piece of garnish on top of it, and packed up into like a little circle. And we ate that, and it actually tasted good. We had that, and it was like one of those like foo chef it up type restaurants where they give you a big ass plate and like a grain of rice on it, and then decorate it. But the food was pretty good. We enjoyed it. I had a good time. Tried a few new things. Had foie gras, which I hadn't had before. Some French onion soup, which was dope. I like French onion soup. It was pretty good here. And what else? Then I had like a flank steak or something like that. What else did we do? Not too much, man. Aside from that, like it was a dope vacation. We took naps. We woke up early. We went to the beach. We went to the pool. We had like barbecue by the pool. What else? There's like a little coffee place here that had dope cappuccinos and espressos, and we're just pounding double espressos and little pastries and stuff like that. And that place is open 24 hours a day, so it was pretty cool, you know. Get coffee. I drink a shitload of coffee. You guys know my fucking endless quest for the perfect coffee. But yeah, the coffee was really good there. But yeah, that's pretty much our honeymoon. I can't think of anything else that I've left out. If I do, I'll record it like in another little segment, or like the intro or outro to this thing. This is one of those episodes that I'm not sure if I'm gonna release it soon, or just like stash it away for a rainy day type of thing. Just like a listen back on our honeymoon experience type of thing. It might be something like that. But either way, I'll put up pictures on the website, spuntoday.com/photography, that I took of Chichen Itza, of here around the resort. I took some dope pictures like by the beach and stuff like that. And on Instagram and the Facebook fan page and stuff like that. So you guys should check it out. I did a video actually of the room, and I'll probably put that on YouTube just so, because I know when I've been curious about rooms like for resorts that I was thinking about going to, or hotel rooms and stuff like that, videos like that are helpful when the people actually like walk through the room and show you what the room exactly looks like. It's not as it's much more detailed than, you know, like the photographs that the hotel website puts up and the virtual tours and stuff like that. So I'll probably put that, check that out on the Spun Today YouTube page if you're interested. And if not, go fuck yourselves. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening, and peace. And that's the episode, folks. And this is the outro. So technically it's not the episode. That's the bulk, the middle build of the story of this episode. If you want to stick around and listen to a few ways where you can help support the podcast and keep this all going, even though I'm going to keep this all going anyway, spoiler alert, but you know, your continued help and support and rating and reviewing and spreading the word and help financially if you choose to, is much appreciated, and definitely contributes to the cause. So here's a bunch of the ways, if you guys are still feeling the Christmas spirit, even though it's like a week past by the time you guys listen to this, a bunch of the ways that you guys can help support the podcast. One way where you instantly get something of value, in my opinion, back in return, is signing up for my weekly newsletter. It's called the Midday Monday Boost Letter. You can go right now to spuntoday.com, click on subscribe, and just drop your name and email address in, and you'll get the very next one. What it is a newsletter that includes 5 things. 5 of the things that I'm into and that I feel like sharing with you guys. It's a photo of the week, which I feature like a photographer from Instagram usually, but could be any other type of photo as well. Just a dope picture that I saw that I want to share with you guys, and I shout that photographer out. And that if you're into photography at all, that you can use the newsletter as like a mechanism to let me get put onto some new dope photographers or whatever, and then follow them on Instagram and stuff like that, and you get to see a cool picture. It also includes a podcast of the week. I listen to a shitload of podcasts, like I tell you guys all the time, and it's a very, very eclectic, in my opinion, spectrum of podcasts, from comedy podcasts like The Church of What's Happening Now with Joey Coco Diaz, Bill Burr's Monday Morning Podcast, or if you're a skeptic, Tank, the Joe Rogan Experience Podcast, to philosophical or philosophy podcasts like the Drunken Taoist Podcast with Daniele Bolelli and Rich Avers, the I Am Rappaport Podcast. Then you have stuff like Planet Money, This American Life. What else? The Tim Ferriss Show, the Brian Callen Show, Good Times with Steve Simone. If you ever want, by the way, to just feel appreciative of whenever you're feeling down and stuff like that, or just generally speaking, if you ever want to feel like appreciative of what you have and just like reminisce about good times, listen to the Good Times podcast with Steve Simone. He's like by far the most like positive fucking do-gooder that I've ever heard of, and he's like a clean comic and just an all-around cool guy. I don't know him personally, but I've spoken with him like on Twitter and stuff like that, and he's humble. He just like interviews like his childhood friends growing up and other comedians and stuff like that, and they speak about stuff like from when they were kids, like the good times, quote unquote. And it's cool, and they bring stuff up that even they're a little older than me, but even I'm like, oh shit, I remember that, and then it gets me thinking of stuff, and it's pretty cool, like a lot of family stuff and stuff like that. It's pretty dope. I also listen to writing podcasts like the Creative Pen and the Story Grid podcast, the Writers Panel. What else? Just a bunch of different dope stuff. Nerdist podcast, You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen, at the MMA Hour with Ariel Hawani, Fitz Dog Radio, Talk Nerdy, the Undisclosed podcast, the TED Radio Hour, Actual Innocence podcast, Brain Stuff, which is cool. Brain Stuff is like 5 to 10 minute little podcast about just like random questions, like what is American cheese really made of, and why do dogs tilt their heads, and why do so many price tags end in 0.99, like 99 cents, like stuff like that. He does like a quick little deep dive into them. Ask Pat podcast, fucking fantasy football podcast, like a bunch of different shit, like hip hop podcast, Radio Lab. So there's something there for anyone. So if you'd like podcasts in general and you want to get put onto new shit, again, sign up to the Spun Today questionnaire, the Midday Monday Boost Letter, and you get one podcast recommendation per week, and it's an episode from within the shows that I listen to that I thought was dope and that people would get some value out of. Then the other 3 things mentioned in the Midday Monday Boost Letter each and every week is a quote of the week, like an inspirational type quote or just a dope that I found insightful. Word of the week, just step up your vocab, and a video of the week, and the videos could be battle rap or a TED talk, and or any video that I saw online, you know, not like cat videos that go viral and stuff like that, just shit that I happen to see, whether I saw it and it happened years ago and I'm just seeing it now for the first time or whatever. It's not stuff that, you know, is in the zeitgeist of the week or anything like that. It's just shit that I saw. And I wanted to share with you guys. So check it out at spuntoday.com/subscribe. Also, I have a questionnaire on my website. It's mainly for writers, but it's open, you know, to anybody who does anything creative. You could be a blogger or a singer or whatever it is that you're into. And I'm pretty sure you can answer the 5 questions. It's 5 open-ended questions related to your craft. And when you do fill out those 5 questions, you can choose to remain anonymous if you want to, and if not, I will give you a shout out on the podcast. But if you do choose to remain anonymous, I'll just read the responses to the questions and share it with the rest of the folks that listen to the Spun Today podcast. And the value there for the listeners is that you get to see other people's perspectives, you know, different writers and how they approach getting over writer's block and like stuff like that. I think that's like related to one of the questions there. Fuck. I just choked. Sorry about that. All right. Next, if you I want to give an open invitation to any writers or creators out there that want to be on the podcast. You know, we can set something up. I want to do more like interviews, featured interviews on the Spun Today podcast in 2017. So definitely, if you're not interested on like verbally being on the podcast, you can fill out a questionnaire like I mentioned before. You can be featured that way. But if you want to come on to the podcast, and you know, we can set up like a Skype interview or something like that, and you know, just have a conversation, you know, shoot the shit about writing and creating and stuff like that. Whatever it is that you're into, feel free to reach out to me. You know, it's free. It's not like I'm gonna charge you like for an interview or something like that, like some sites and podcasts do. I think that's bullshit. I think we can all learn from each other, and especially if you're struggling coming up type of writer, you know, why have that like zero sum game, that famine thinking mentality, and you know, crabs in a bucket type of thing. Let's help each other out. Come on the podcast, talk to me about your process, and I openly speak about mine all the time. And yeah, hit me up. Email me to spuntoday@gmail.com, or go to spuntoday.com/contact. There's a contact page there. You can hit me up through there, and we'll speak. We'll set something up. Alrighty, for all you Christmas spirit folks that are out there, you happy Kwanzaa people, and Jews that are feeling like you want to be a giving beacon of the Star of David. That made no sense. Here are 3 ways that you can help support the podcast financially. You can shop on Amazon, and by doing so, help me out financially. Now, how does that work, you might ask? Go to spuntoday.com/affiliate links, and there you're going to see all the different ways that you can help the podcast financially that I'm going to mention now, including an Amazon banner. What you do is just click on that banner, and that takes you to Amazon's website. And if you're the type that uses bookmarks, by the way, you can just do this one time. Go to spuntoday.com/affiliate links, click on the Amazon banner, then save that link to Amazon as your bookmark. And then whenever you go to Amazon, just click on the bookmark and go buy shit. It doesn't cost you anything extra whatsoever. And every time you shop through my link, if you go to spuntoday.com/affiliate links first, and then click on the Amazon banner, then look for whatever it is you're going to buy, add it to your cart, and purchase it. It costs you the same exact amount that you would normally pay, and Amazon gives me a few pennies on the dollar just for driving traffic towards their website. There's also an iTunes affiliate link, which works the exact same way. There's a PayPal donation link that does not work the same way. That is, if you just want to donate straight cash, feel free to do so. Another way that you can help support the podcast financially is by checking out the Patreon page. And the Patreon is pretty cool. in the sense that it's a site that, again, if you go to the spuntoday.com/affiliate links, I put a little Patreon video that explains what Patreon is and what it does and how it works. But just in short, it's a site that allows you to donate a certain amount, whatever you choose, whether it's $1, $3, $5, $8 per episode of the Spun Today podcast. So I normally put out 2 episodes per month, sometimes 3, but usually 2, no more than that, no more than 3. So that would mean that if you set up these reoccurring donations, it'll be like $1 per episode. So it'll be $2 a month, and it's just something that gets, like, you know, you set it up through your PayPal or something like that. And you get, if you go to my Patreon page, you'll see the different rewards that you get for choosing to go this route to support the podcast. So go to Patreon, patreon.com/Spun Today, and you'll see that if you donate $1 per episode, you get definitely get a shout out on the podcast. I need to edit the page to mention that you'll also get a bookmark, limited edition Spun Today bookmark that I get done like in batches of like 50, and each time is going to be a different design. So you get one of those, whatever the bookmark happens to be at that point in time. If you want to donate $3 per episode, you get the bookmark, you get the shout out, but you'll also get a piece of free writing that's otherwise not posted to the public, like the rest of my free writing. That's at spuntoday.com/free writing. And you'll also get a free digital copy of any of my nonfiction books as they come out. Like, for example, the book that I have out now, which is Make Way for You, Tips for Getting Out of Your Own Way. You get it for free. That one and any future ones, as long as you keep donating. So it's a gamble. If I fucking drop that tomorrow, knock on wood, then you'll at least get one, right? You donate $5 and you get at least a book, so the book will cost you $5. But if I come out with the volume 2 of Make Way for You, and then volume 3 and volume 4 and volume 8 down the line, when I'm fucking 65, you'll be getting each and every one. But yeah, to see all the different levels and the explanations of what you get for what you donate, go to Patreon, patreon.com/Spun Today. If you want to purchase my book directly, you can first learn more about it, see if it's something that you think you'd be into, or maybe you want to get it for somebody for one of your Hanukkah gifts or something like that. It's I don't like calling it a motivational book because it sounds like too woo-woo and bullshit, but it's pretty much if you check out, go to spuntoday.com/free writing, see the different types of free writing that I have there, and it's a collection of certain free writing pieces that motivated me to, and pushed me and inspired me to put my own book together. And I feel that if it was able to do that for me, which I am a fucking procrastinating king, I know I'm not unique in that way, if it was able to help me just to get that done, I think that it could possibly help others do the same. So check it out. It's called Make Way for You. You can see a video about it on my Patreon page. You can also see a video about it on my website at spuntoday.com/books. You get some free audio excerpts on the site as well, and just generally an explanation of what it is. You can purchase a paperback copy. You can purchase a digital copy either through iBooks or Kindle. It's free for Kindle Unlimited users to download wherever you get your ebooks from. Look for it. I'm sure it's there. Please rate and review it. Let me know what you think about it. Again, like I always tell you guys, this podcast is anchored in writing, and it's essentially going to be a digital audio recording, this podcast is, of my writing journey and everything that happened in between. And I really want to get better at it, and part of getting better at it is getting the constructive criticism from you fucks. So don't be a douche, but feel free to reach out to me and hit me up and let me know what you think about it, or any of my other writing that you can see on my website at spuntoday.com/free writing, or the short stories, spuntoday.com/short stories. They all have comment sections and stuff like that, and you guys can let me know what you think through there. Also, if you can't afford purchasing the book in any way, I will send you a free copy. If you just go to that website that I mentioned, spuntoday.com/books. All the way at the bottom, there's a link to, not a link, there's an option to put in your name and email address. And if you do that, I'll send you over a free copy of the book. So feel free to do that if you need to. I'm aiming to make this podcast a Milky Way, universe-wide phenomenon. And before we get to that point, I need to get some more rates and reviews on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and all the places that you listen to podcasts. It's available in a bunch of different places. Whatever your favorite podcatcher is, I'm sure it's there. But mainly, I would appreciate it if you guys would rate and review it on iTunes, on Stitcher, wherever it is that you listen to. And let me know what you think about it. Also, subscribe to the YouTube page at Spun Today. It's not spuntoday.com / it's not youtube.com / Spun Today. Go to spuntoday.com, and at the bottom there's a link to the YouTube page. Because you need like a shit ton of subscribers before you can name your YouTube page or some shit like that. Until you reach that point, they give you like a wonky link or something. But yeah, you can easily get to it through my website or just search Spun Today in YouTube and it'll pop up. Again, folks, I really appreciate the fuck out of you. And thank you very much for listening to the Spun Today podcast this year. It has slowly but surely gone up in listenership. And I appreciate you guys sharing it with your friends and coworkers and stuff like that, and blogs. And feel free to blog about it, talk about it, criticize it, whatever the fuck it is that you're into. Here's to continued and shared prosperity to us all in 2017. I wish you all health and happiness. And as always, substitute the mysticism with hard work and start taking steps in the general direction of your dreams. Thanks for listening.